The death of Timothy McLean, to me, is personally so terrible that I couldn't even imagine being present or seeing something so horrific as a survivor. On the evening of July 30th, 2008, Timothy McLean, sleeping peacefully, was murdered by his seatmate. This is a story of the Greyhound Bus Incident. Tim was born on October 3rd, 1985, in Victoria, British Columbia. He was described as an adventurous guy who loved to travel and make his friends laugh. His friends considered him to be a reliable guy full of love for all he knew, and he wouldn't hurt a soul. Someone who something like this could never happen to. The night was like any other. As the lights were off, there was a film playing on the TVs on the bus. After a while, the silence was shattered by the scream of Tim Mclean as passengers grasp to figure out what is going on. As it was reported, Marlene Gregory boarded the bus on that night in July. She made the trip often for work, but hasn't since the incident happened. She told police that at her time of boarding, an agitated man also boarded with her. She reported him as pacing a lot and speaking to himself in a foreign language. She had said that at the start of the trip, he had sat at the front of the bus, but after a stop, he moved to the rear of the bus, beside Tim. It's said by witnesses that about 20 minutes before sunset, a scream and a commotion was heard at the back of the bus. Even Allison and his wife were sitting directly across from Tim Mclean the night that the incident happened.
He had with him a 2-liter bottle of Cool Nest tea and a roll of toilet paper that he would not let go of, either of them. And then when he wanted a drink, he'd sit there and put the roll of toilet paper under his chin and open it and then take it back off.
Was he saying anything?
At one point he was. Closer to when it happened, he was sitting there rocking back and forth chanting something, but it wasn't in English, so I didn't know what he said. But that was really, really weird. That was when I was like, okay, something's going down, something's gonna happen. But my second thought was, if I get up, go and start saying something, he might say, oh great, someone's found me out, and then look over and see my wife sitting next to me and decide to go after her instead.
In a panic, Stephen tried to get everybody off of the bus to avoid anybody else getting hurt. Standing outside, a group of men could see inside the bus and tried their hardest to get the killer to obey and let Tim go. In an interview with one of the witnesses, he describes what he saw in great detail. As you can see in his 1,000-mile stare, he has obviously witnessed something very traumatic, and it is probably going to be burned in his brain forever. I do have to warn you that this is extremely graphic, and it has all the trigger warnings, and it is exceptionally gruesome.
I was just reading a book. All of a sudden I heard a guy screaming. I turned around and the guy sitting right next beside me was standing up and stabbing another guy with a Rambo knife, pretty much. It was a big survival knife like this in the throat, repeatedly. Told everybody to get off the bus. Everybody started to get off the bus. The guy still kept stabbing him. Everybody got off the bus. Me and a trucker that had stopped and the Greyhound driver ran up to the door to maybe see if the guy was still alive or we could help or something like that. And when we all got up, we seen that the guy was cutting off the guy's head. He was cutting off the guy's head there. And he saw us. He came back to the front of the bus, told the driver to shut the door. He pressed the button and the door shut, but it didn't shut in time, and the guy was able to get his knife out and take a swipe at us, so we backed off the door, and I ran around the back side of the bus driver took off, and then we both returned to the front to see what had happened, and he hadn't gotten off the bus. The door was still open, We shut the bus door that time and shut it. It was at that point that he came, started walking to the front of the bus, and he had the head in his hand, and he just looked at us like this and dropped it on the ground, like totally calm. The three of us had weapons from the trucker's truck there, and we just stayed outside while he tried to get out the door, telling him, "No, stay put, stay there, don't try to come out." He tried to get the bus working, and the bus driver disabled the bus somehow in the back. I'm not sure how he did it. It was at that point, I think, that the police showed up and kicked us off, got us to the end of the bus there.
How were people reacting?
Some people were puking, some people were crying.
Were people running? Were they screaming?
Yeah, everybody was running, screaming off the bus. Like, when it happened, I think I was the first one to really realize what was going on, and just screamed, like, "Stop the bus, someone's getting stabbed, everybody get the hell off." The people at the front of the bus didn't really understand what was going on, so it almost turned into like a trample scene there, and everybody trying to get off the bus. But the guy, he didn't care at all. He wasn't concerned with anybody but the guy that he was stabbing.
What did the guy look like? Did you get a look at him?
The killer?
Yeah.
He's either Chinese or native. That's all I can say. 6 feet, 200 pounds, he's wearing sunglasses, bald head. He looked totally calm. He didn't say a word, I don't think, to anybody on the bus. I think he got out and had a cigarette with one girl. Nothing, just totally calm. The guy that he stabbed was listening to his headphones and sleeping. He didn't do anything to provoke the guy. The guy just took a knife out and stabbed him. Started stabbing him like crazy and cut his head off.
How are you feeling when you saw what was happening?
I got sick after I saw the head thing. I just wanted to help me and the driver wanted to get the guy stuck in the bus. And at that point, when we saw the head, we knew that the guy was dead, so.
Was he saying anything during your time?
Nothing. The guy was totally calm, and when he came and he brought the head and he looked at us and dropped the head, it was just like he was having a day at the beach. Like,
Very last scene.
yeah.
Did the victim scream? Did he wake up? Did he yell?
Yeah, the victim was a blood-curdling scream. Like that. Just reading my book, and all of a sudden I heard it. It was like something between a dog howling and a baby crying. I guess you could say it was. I don't think it'll leave me for a while.
By 9 o'clock, police and a special negotiations unit of tactical fighters were at a standoff with the killer. During that time, the suspect frequently paced the full length of the bus and defiled Tim's corpse. Officers then reported the suspect eating parts of Tim's body. The suspect later on in negotiation tried to escape through a bus window. He was subsequently tased and taken into custody. While retrieving Tim's body from the bus, the investigators noted that Tim's nose, tongue, and eyes were missing, also parts of the heart. They found the nose, eyes, and ears in the suspect's pockets. The heart and the eyes were determined to have been eaten. Vince Lee was born in Dadong, China on April 30th, 1968. He graduated from the Wuhan Institute of Technology with a bachelor's in computing. Lee immigrated to Canada in 2011. He worked several odd jobs. One included Walmart, in which he was fired for a disagreement with other employees. Shortly before the incident, Lee had asked for time off to go to Winnipeg for a job interview. On July 29th, it was reported that Lee hopped on a bus to Winnipeg and was seen sleeping on a bench at a stop. On the morning of the murder, still on the bench, he sold his brand new laptop to a teenager for $60. That laptop was later seized as evidence. Lee's trial took place on March 3rd, 2009. He pleaded not criminally responsible on account of mental disorder. He was actually released recently, believe it or not. Lee was 40 at the time of the murder. he was charged with second-degree murder because he responded with an NCR, which is not responsible because of mental illness. He avoided execution, and on February 17th, he received an absolute discharge and is now living independently in Manitoba community. He has changed his name to Will Lee Baker. According to Chris Somerville, who is the chief executive of the Schizophrenia Society of Canada, he says that he has been a model citizen. He lives every day with remorse about what he did, and he knows that, and he knows that it was atrocious, and he will never forgive himself. Good for him. If you liked this content, please comment, rate, and subscribe. I really do appreciate hearing your feedback, and look forward to making more for you.